friends, I'm Nupur. I'm a software engineer turned professional coach. I'm passionate about helping individuals live their dream and overcome any obstacles that are coming in their way to be happy and successful. Welcome to my heart-centric sessions. The intent of these sessions is to connect with you through my journey, my emotions, and my heart. Someone said, knowledge without application is like a book that is never read. In the same way, to get the most out of these sessions, I would encourage you to pause, reflect, and do the self-introspection exercises at the end of the sessions. And soon, you'll be on the road to self-awareness and self-mastery, the key to happiness and success. So let's get started. Today's session is about judgment and how judgment can affect your relationship with others as well as yourself. Also, I'll talk about a 3-step process that you can practice to release judgment. So let us start by defining what is judgment. We are humans, and judgments helps us with our survival. It helps us to decide what works for us and what doesn't. Though the kind of judgment which we are talking in this session is when judgment doesn't work for us. When judgment prevents us to learn, to be curious, to accept people who are different than us, to be slaves of our own belief system, and above all, to be happy. I would like to share a personal experience with you, which made me realize how judgment was coming in my way of happiness, was contracting my heart, affecting my relationships, and limiting me to live up to my potential. A few years back, I was fortunate to work with a great company which had an amazing work from home policy. At that time, I had no kids. I would spend most of my evenings working, was expert in my field, pretty ambitious, sometimes aggressive, and would say a bit judgmental. My world revolved around programming, projects, appraisals, deadlines, promotions. Though being the person I am, I was able to connect easily to people, even the non-techies, but often would make judgment about work ethic. See, work ethic is something that I value a lot. If my judgment told me that someone was not being the work ethicaholic as per my standards, I would draw a clear blind on them. I was very proud of being the idealist I was, equally proud of my judgments of right or wrong, good or bad, until I came across coaching. That's when my world changed. That's when I realized how judgment was taking me away from my true nature. How judgment was taking me away from happiness. I discovered a whole new world. A world that had shades of grey. A world where judgment was conquered by compassion. See, when we label someone or their actions as good or bad, right or wrong, fair or unfair, we form a belief system. We form a belief towards them. Consciously or unconsciously, in any interaction, conversation with that person, the belief gets scanned. The belief creates a bias in our thinking and contracts our heart. As a result, we are devoid of seeing the beauty of that person, to feel their pain, to feel their fears. We are too much into our logical minds and too much into our reasoning of why we are right and why they are wrong, why what we are doing is fair and why what they are doing is unfair, that we get totally disconnected to our intuition. That inner voice that tells us we all are connected. Try this out for yourself. Think about how judgment shows up in your personal or professional life. Actually, it doesn't matter. End of the day, you are the same person. What destructive emotions does it invoke in you? And how will it feel to release that judgment from your life? Please pause and introspect. Even better, write down the answers to these questions. See, when we make judgments about a person or a situation based on the limited information we have, we are being like a frog in the well. The frog can just see the world around the well. Maybe from the well, the frog sees a smiling person resting under the shade of a fruit-laden tree. But what gets missed is the journey that person took to get to that fruit-laden tree. Maybe the road was full of pointy stones. Maybe there was harsh weather with no respite. Maybe the person is just masking a smile and there's unrest within. The point is, we never know the story, and we can actually never know the complete story, even if we think we know. I realized this concept a few years back when I was pregnant, was working full time, had a pretty painful commute, and was enrolled in an aggressive MBA program. I was constantly running and judging, running the race of life and judging myself in the race. Judging for not being the perfect employee, perfect co-worker, perfect student, perfect mother, perfect wife, the list just goes on. See, I'll tell you a golden rule. When you judge others, you tend to judge yourself too. You set standards for yourself, and if you're not able to stand up to your own standards, you beat yourself up. The same standards with which you evaluate others. So, to end today's session, I'll give you a 3-step process to release judgment. Step number 1, observe. Step number 2, feel. Step number 3, release. Observe, feel, release. 3 steps to release judgment. Step number 1, observe. Observe that you are being judgmental. Note my words here. Observe and not judge. Don't label your thoughts or behaviors or actions as good or bad. Just be an observer. Write down the triggers that spark the judgment. The judgment can take different forms like not good enough, not smart enough, not bold enough. The judgment can be towards others or towards yourself. Step number 2, feel. Feel the emotions that come up when you are being judgmental. Do you feel more connected to yourself, or has the judgment shrunk your vision? Feel the destructive emotions that come up. Please keep your logical mind aside in this exercise. Feel it from your heart. Step number 3, release. Replace the feeling of judgment with compassion and love, even if you strongly feel that you are right and the other person is wrong. Try and replacing the feeling. Replace the feeling of judgment with compassion and love. I recently came across a great talk by Jeff Weiner, CEO of LinkedIn. Talks about managing compassionately and walking a mile in someone's shoes. Practice this skill set. Walk a mile in someone's shoes. Feel their pain. Feel their fears. Connect. Connect with them. If you want to know more about how to practice compassion, read my blog article, Compassion at Work. You can find it on my website. See, when you practice compassion, your heart expands. Where there is connection, there is no judgment. And where there is no judgment, there is freedom, there is collaboration, there is creativity, there is innovation, there is happiness and love. Love for yourself, love for others. I hope you got something out of this session. Practice the 3-step process of releasing judgment and see how it affects your relationship with others as well as yourself. Thanks for being with me in my heart-centric sessions. Bye for now. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.